Welcome to episode 78 of the High Volume Hiring Podcast. This is Stephen Rothberg. I'm one of your co-hosts from College Recruiter, where we believe that every student and recent grad deserves a great career and that it should be easy and inexpensive for employers to hire them. For those of our viewers and listeners who are in the U.S. or who care about the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Jeanette, it's good to see you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good to see you guys as well. I'm Jeanette Leeds. I'm an HR tech entrepreneur, and I am here today along with Stephen with Max Armbruster, who's the CEO and founder of Talkpush. Max, welcome. So glad to have you here today.
And thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm in Hong Kong right now where my wife is struggling to get a turkey.
Oh.
Well, we have wild turkeys in our backyard, so just have her fly about 25 hours to pick one up, and you'll be all set.
No big deal. No big deal. Well, we have lots to be thankful for. So let's start off today's Thanksgiving session with maybe Max. Just tell us a bit about what is Talkpush, and I know we were talking behind the scenes about Sam. Just give us a quick background on that.
Well, last week we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and for the last 10 years, we've been focused almost exclusively on high-volume recruitment. So how did we wait 78 episodes for me to come on? Come on. But we focus on, high volume, as you know, there's a lot of industries that can fall in that category, but we've done most of our work with the contact center industry and with the retail sector. And we engage with candidates conversationally. So we were the first to build a recruitment chatbot on Facebook Messenger and then on WhatsApp. Now we're moving back to voice, which is where we started. We started in voice 10 years ago, and then moved to text, and now we're reintroducing voice. So that's what Sam is.
Very cool. So one of the reasons that Jeanette and I really wanted you to come on the show is because you are courageous and also have a product that we think is going to be really amazing to demo for our users, the voicebot, Sam. So before we jumped on the air, in literally just a few minutes, Max got from Jeanette her mobile phone number. And a very, very brief description of kind of where she located and what was a job that she thought would have been really cool when she was 10. So we're going to have Sam, the AI recruiter, call and interview Jeanette. And the interview should last roughly 5 minutes. And we're going to share that live.
We're going to do it. It's going to be crazy. So we'll see how I do in an interview on my job I wanted many years ago.
I'd hire you, but
we thought it'd be a really good example of a job for high volume. So, and one that I've been talking a lot about recently. Ooh, am I getting a phone call? No, I'm just getting a text.
I'm waiting for you to tell me when to trigger.
Okay, call me. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, now?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Get to see and hear.
Okay, so Jeanette.
This is going to be awesome.
No pressure. Okay, getting the call. It's coming from LA.
Hi, I'm Sam, an AI recruiter from Talkpush. Am I speaking to Jeanette Leeds?
You are. Hi.
Hi, Jeanette. I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak with you. I'm calling you because you applied for the truck driver position at Talkpush. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing? I did apply for the truck driver position.
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It's great to hear that you remember applying for the position. Would you like me to refresh your memory about the truck driver role, or do you have any specific questions about it?
No, I'm good. I remember the job description.
Perfect. I'd like to take a few minutes to learn more about you. Do you have a few minutes to continue the conversation?
I do. Just a few minutes, though.
Great. Just to let you know, this conversation will be recorded for recruitment purposes and to analyze the information. Are you okay with that?
I am A-okay with that.
Thank you. Let's get started. Commercial driver's license?
I'm not sure. I have a regular driver's license.
Understood. It sounds like you might need to look into obtaining a Class A CDL for the position. Moving on. Do you have a clean driving record?
I do. I've never gotten a ticket ever in my entire life.
Noted. That's great to hear. Do you have experience driving commercial trucks?
I think your hand is covering the mic.
Your honesty. Got it. Thank you for clarifying. Are you able to lift heavy loads?
Yeah, I'm pretty strong for someone who's 4'10".
Perfect. It's great to hear that you feel confident with lifting. What sparked your interest in applying for a truck driver position given your extensive executive leadership experience?
You know, I just thought it'd be really fun to be out on the road and driving on the highway late at night. Like, I think it'd be zen and just awesome.
That sounds exciting. Thanks for sharing that. Have you undergone any route planning or logistics training, or do you have experience in planning and executing delivery schedules?
I mean, I'm a mom and an executive, so in terms of planning logistics of like for 2 kids and life, like extensive. I feel like I have a PhD in logistics, not an official PhD, but like a logistics PhD sort of type of life.
Great. Your experience in managing logistics at home sounds valuable. Given your extensive background in executive leadership roles, how would you adapt your management and problem-solving skills to the role of a truck driver, particularly in situations involving vehicle maintenance or compliance with DOT regulations?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I'm really handy. So I would just learn everything.
Noted. Being handy is definitely a plus. How do you envision utilizing your strong time management skills in a role that requires meeting tight delivery deadlines?
Oh, I mean, life is all about deadlines, so I have a ton of experience with that. I would just draw on that.
Perfect. It's great to hear that you have a solid foundation in time management. Can you describe any experience you have had with customer service in relation to logistics or transportation?
Ooh, I don't know if I have so much in terms of related to logistics in that area, but I have probably a lot of transferable skills from my life as an executive.
Understood. Your transferable skills could certainly be beneficial. Have you ever been involved in tasks related to loading and unloading cargo? If not, how do you plan to manage these responsibilities?
I mean, again, being a mom of 2 kids with lots of stuff, they go to sleepaway camp and just getting them ready with the camp trunks, that's like a lot. So very similar.
Great. It sounds like you have experience managing tasks related to cargo in your own way. How would you adjust from leading a company to following the policies and regulations as a truck driver?
Well, I think whether you're leading a company or you're like in other positions, you got to follow the rules, and you know there's processes. So whether you're leading or doing, it's very similar.
Understood. Thank you for your insights. I appreciate your thoughtful responses. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Good.
Do you have any questions before we wrap up the call?
Yeah, I'm curious. What's the salary and pay like?
That's a great question. For specific salary information, I recommend asking a human recruiter at a later time, as I don't have the details on that. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
I think that's all. I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome. A human recruiter will reach out as soon as we have news about your application. I wish you the best of luck in your job search. Have a great day.
Thanks. Okay. I mean, how did I do?
I've got my fingers and my toes crossed. I'm hoping you do not get the job, Jeanette, because that's going to spell the end of your podcasting career.
Seriously. I'm going to be zen.
You could podcast from the road, I think.
I mean, I could.
Or from Hong Kong.
From anywhere. I'm going to tell you in a few seconds how you did, but first I want to know how you think Sam did.
Sam was great. Sam was friendly. She like rolled with my crazy responses. And I think also just so for everyone, beforehand, we did a test before in the green room. And I definitely like threw some other crazy answers at her and said like, hey, call me back. I have a meeting. And, you know, we heard her say like, no problem. Have a great meeting, Jeanette. Like, I'll call you back. So just that ability to understand what I'm saying,
Yeah,
Since that
this was not like an asynchronous interview. Like
Yeah.
clearly Sam understood what you were saying and the context. And that's light years ahead of Max, what you would have been able to do 10 years ago, right?
10 years ago it was all scripted, and the advantage with non-scripted is obvious in a conversation like that. It allows you to have a two-way exchange of information. So you can ask any questions you want. It allows you to, it allows you to do a lot of things, because when you imagine a recruiter on the phone, you imagine a human asking questions, but in fact it does so much more. He's selling. He's talking about the environment. He's coordinating what's going to happen next. There's a lot that goes on. So, so being able to converse in a very contextual way is essential. And now with OpenAI and the other LLMs, you can feed the AI so much context in real time that it can really handle just anything you throw at it.
How did it, Max, how did Sam know that Jeanette had executive experience?
I just copy pasted her background from LinkedIn and into the platform.
Okay, so if Jeanette had actually gone to, say, an ATS and applied to the job, then that same information would have been there. That would have been fed into Sam, and then she would have received an email that basically says, "Hey, Sam is looking to interview you. Are you ready?" Is that?
Yeah, the state of the art for this technology, for the voice AI technology. You've just gone through the elections, so you probably received tons of robocalls already, and these calls are harder to handle because people are not expecting to receive a call. If you're expecting to receive the call and you're in the right mindset and it's not a loud environment, it's very easy to do this. So you can set it up so that as soon as somebody applies, the call comes in, so they're in the right mindset. Or you can send them an SMS and ask them to trigger it, for example. I think what's good about the example we picked as well is a truck driver usually has their hands full. So to be able to apply by chatting on the phone without having to use your thumbs is a big plus as well.
That is huge. It's a great point.
I have the interview report if you'd like to.
Perfect. That was actually going to be my question. How did I do?
Well, I regret to inform you.
No.
Here we go. Here's the grade: 2.5 out of 5. The candidate shows potential. Can you see my screen?
1 sec. I just need to share it. There we go.
Hey.
So for those who are listening on Spotify, Apple, etc., what we're seeing right now is a report. It format is somewhat similar to a resume, and it says aspiring logistics enthusiast.
Amazing.
And it's got maybe a dozen bullet points.
I love that. Aspiring logistic enthusiast. I mean, they picked up the enthusiasm. Very cool.
So it did pick up that you have no records, no license, no experience, and a small stature. I don't know how that came through.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The candidate compares their experience as a mother and executive to having a quote unquote PhD in logistics,
which is like many people would attest that actually is true. And
so
if I did anyone that has a PhD in logistics, I really apologize because obviously I don't.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
So what we're seeing here as well, there was no configuration, as you know, because we just set it up before the call, and Sam decides what categories to rate the candidates on, and then gives it a grade, and we got a 2.5 out of 5, which is usually not a passing.
I got some points on the board, but not getting this job.
So I guess I'm kind of thinking that the future looks bright for the High Volume Hiring podcast in terms of Jeanette not leaving us for a better opportunity.
Not going to become a truck driver. And Sam was great at assessing my background for the job, which is not an exact match. So good job, Sam.
So that report, Max, does that get emailed to the recruiter?
Yeah, that's in my inbox, and of course, we'd like for it to populate ATSs all over the world, and basically to be used as another assessment solution. It's basically an assessment solution, but it takes on a new form.
Yeah.
And does the candidate get one, or is that up to the employer whether the candidate gets a copy?
Gen AI is a great opportunity to give candidates a level of feedback that they've never received before, and to present it in a sort of positive light. As you can see, Jeanette, as an enthusiast, it was able to highlight what was good about your application,
Yes.
and it would be able to give that feedback to you in a live way. You could say, "Oh, Jeanette, I really appreciate your enthusiasm," and so on, and so the candidates can be told, this is the information that we've gathered, and that will be passed on to the human recruiter, and give it some feedback. So I think that it is a good time for all vendors, not just us, to use this technology to tell the candidates how they did in real time.
Very cool.
James.
I have another quick question, and I know we're kind of a little over time. So Jeanette, if you've got anything else, then definitely let's have you chime in. But the question that I had, Max, is scaling. So how many of these interviews can Sam do a day for an employer?
There's no limit. There's no limit.
So Amazon warehouse, they could be interviewing like thousands and thousands of people a day. Sam can take that over.
Yeah. The capacity that you buy in telco is number of concurrent phone calls. All you need is 20 concurrent lines to be able to handle something like 5,000 pre-screening interviews a day, and there are many companies that have hundreds of concurrent lines. So it does scale very nicely, and because of IVR, I mean, this technology is already 30 years old.
Yeah. Incredible. One thing I just wanted to touch on quickly, because we talked about it a bit beforehand, is the interview questions. So you just threw in the truck driver one, and we're like, oh, the questions. Just maybe talk a bit about how did that work? Like, how did Sam come up with those questions?
It just looked at the job description. I actually generated the job description minutes before by asking Google Gemini to create me a job description. I didn't proofread any of it. I just copy pasted it. And Sam will create questions based on that, looking at the skill gap between the resume and the job description. But what I realized is most employers aren't willing to just say, Sam, run with it, because it's hard to relinquish control. Yeah. So usually people just want to, impose their questions. And also what happens is when you're a job seeker, you apply to a lot of things, a lot of jobs every day. I think it's the average like 10 or 20 jobs you apply per day if you're an active job seeker. And so you don't really pay that much attention to all the prerequisites. You apply to a lot of things. If there's a form, you say yes, because you just want to move on to the next round. So a lot of these phone calls that are happening in the recruitment world, you're not really collecting new information. You're just checking that the information you collected the first time around is correct.
That is true.
And so I think it's legitimate to want to to write the questions, even if you already have the information, for a lot of employers, because they just want to check that the person is consistent and didn't just click a box and they actually have the thing that they're supposed to have on their background.
I love that. Like, I don't know what kind of driver's license I have, clearly, but Sam knew. She was like, I'm not sure you have that or not. So yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. Well, Max, thank you so much. This was a super fun episode. We are so thankful on Thanksgiving to have you on.
I see what you did there.
What I did.
Yeah. This is exciting, really exciting. Speed is so important in high volume.
Yep.
And this allows employers to get back to candidates at scale in minutes, and rather than having to wait for a recruiter to be available in 10 days. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And until next time.
Thanks for having me.
Good stuff.
Cheers.
Take care.